It's so nice to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
So tell me about Food Journey, and I know it's a TV show, so
It is. Food Journey is a culinary adventure. So we are not just cooking. We're getting everybody interested in the process of food, where it comes from, who's doing it, what's trendy, what we already know, and really telling the story in a different way and in more of an educational way.
wow, wow. So how long has your show been running?
Show's been running for 2 seasons now. We're just at the end of season 2, looking very much forward to season 3, and just keep the narrative going.
So it educates people about where the food comes from, how it's processed, how it could even be packaged or presented.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we sometimes take a single ingredient. For instance, we took salt as an ingredient, and we talked about it not only as a seasoning, but how the body needs it, and why it's dangerous to have too much, what happens when you have too little. So we're talking about things in a broad spectrum, and getting people to understand that food is more than just eating it. It's about understanding how it plays a role in our body as well, and how we can get involved in making our own food and getting people young and old into the kitchen, or getting people back into the kitchen.
Wonderful. So what led you into this journey of food?
Well, my love for food started very early with my grandmother. I can think probably as early as 6 years old. I made sure that I was always planted in her kitchen. And she's Jamaican, or was Jamaican, and had a very rich understanding of West Indian food. So I would watch her make her rice and peas and her pig's feet with, or her soused fish, or her coconut rice, or her pot roast. And she just had a way with ingredients, and the love that she put into her food really evoked that food passion in me. And I can still remember some of the recipes that I watched her make when I was 6, 7 years old. Sometimes I just have to take a quiet moment and just think, how did she do that? How did she, I remember. And just create something, recreate my grandmother on a plate.
Oh, wow, wow. So do you see any bit of influence from West Africa in your Caribbean heritage?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you look at, let's take London for a moment. Jamaicans, West Indians came from the Caribbean from as early as the late 40s to about the 70s, and set up, built that city up. You know, the workforce, they were the workforce. Of course, there's intermarriage. And as a people begin to accept others from different parts of the world, you start integrating in social ways. Obviously, you're now going to be interested in food as well as part of that culture. So you find in a place like London, they've been used to eating our food for a very, very, very long time. Now, Africa is now becoming a little bit more trendy in the arts, music, and now food. So I think it's our responsibility as Nigerians to make sure that we have that proliferated in their society as much as possible, whether it's through my kind of platform, or whether it's through some of our chefs that we have right now. For instance, Chef Eros, we're sitting in that restaurant right now, seeing the very innovative things he's doing with our local produce.
So why Africa now? Why all of a sudden? What's so special about Africa? I mean,
Africa has always been special. I just think that we travel a lot. Africans are now migrating more to the West for economic security, and I think that we've tagged on to the fact that our food is important and is a viable economic force to be reckoned with. And everybody eats, everybody needs clothing. So the fashion industry, the food industry are now arising as we are taking control of our what we have to offer abroad.
Wow. Those are really, really strong words and strong points. So Food Journey, where do you see your show going in the next 2 to 3 years? Where do you want to take your show to, and how do you want more of African food to be taken to the Western world, how should we come together as one and make our food known?
I love that question. Well, where I would love Food Journey to go is to leave our shores and start traveling around Africa. I'm very interested to go to places like Morocco and Egypt. I'd love to see, from my own perspective, because I've never traveled to these countries, what they have to offer. Start making comparisons. Start getting people to understand more about things like the spice trail, how our ingredients moved from place to place, what value was put on commodities like salt, for instance, as a currency. You know, I want to broaden the perspective and educate people even further by moving myself around.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
Well, Sonia, thank you for coming, and we're going to see you again very soon.
Thank you so much.